G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel, Bonsai Works. I've got this lovely little black pine, also belongs to a client and customer of mine, Japanese black pine. The good thing with this pine is that it was actually decandled pretty late in summer, almost towards autumn by the owner. So you can see how very small these needles and buds are, so really good. It is late, it is starting to get, it's winter now in Melbourne to be honest. So what it is we need to clean this up, wire it out. Perfect time to do it. The shape's pretty much there. It's a lovely little tree. I don't really want to tweak the angle and shape too much. It's actually really nice. Definitely the back, the whole tree is moving the other way. Definitely the front is where I'm looking at. No real massive changes in terms of that structure, but it would be nice to define a lot of these branches. Obviously defining means wiring. So at the moment there's absolutely no wire on this tree, which is great. So I don't have to take the wire off, which has always been, it's always time consuming, but this little tree purely is a wiring job. Now, when you get to wire a tree like this, you really are looking for good structure, look for any negatives, like if there's three in one spot, you got to start taking them out. I mean, I haven't had a really close look at this tree, but it is purely just wiring, and wiring those pads out, tipping the buds up, cutting back if there's multiple buds in one spot, cutting back to two, things like that. That's the kind of work you need to do on black pines at the moment. We'll see how this turns out, but I think this video might be a continuation of a number of black pines I'm doing for this customer, so you can see how many and what we can do and all the changes. So we'll see about doing that. I'll probably do another mini with this one that is probably very similar in terms of the structure, and there's a couple more black pines that need a bit more work, so I might do another video for those. But for now, let's get into this one. Purely a wiring job, as I said. Start with the lowest branch. Always start with the lowest and work your way up. So always very important. So once you work with the lowest one, the reason why you work with the lowest one is you create the space for the next one, and create the space for the next one as you go up the tree. That's the most important reason. You need the space. So if I started working there and try to bend things down, there's no space for them. So by working on the lowest one first, you create that space. So drop this down a little, that might come down a little bit, then everything else starts to fit in its place, because you wire all the branches and it makes the space that you need. So make sure when I wire, I like to give a bit of movement in this tree. It's a little bit straight in certain areas, so we'll just get a bit of movement and just pretty much wire this tree. Alright guys, I'm going to start wiring and we'll see how it comes out. Alright everyone, so I've wired the tree and I've hit a dilemma. You know how when you see me work on trees, I hate cutting branches off. I'm at a point where I'll try to use this branch as much as I could, but I couldn't figure out where it's going to go. Now, one thing, if you look at this tree, you're probably thinking, where's the trunk? And that's exactly my point. There's a branch that's blocking the trunk. Now, this branch here is nice. It's quite a big one, quite decent size, but it's hiding the trunk. You can't see it. So I tried to put it lower, try to bend it back around. It would just look wrong. I tried multiple things trying to get it to go underneath. I really don't want to get rid of it, but there's nothing I can do. So this is more for the owner, so you can see why I had to cut it off. I will gin it a little bit, but you cannot see the trunk, and that's probably one of the hardest things, or one of the most, when you have a little tree like this, you've got to see the trunk, or any tree really. So if something's blocking the base and the trunk, you guys can't even see it, can't even see the direction of the tree. Yeah, you've got to go. So if I hold that away, you can now see the movement, the tree, the beautiful trunk movement, how the branches go, and there you go. That's the reason why I had to do that. So I'll be removing that. Even I put one heavy wire on, thinking I was going to bend it and I was thinking about going back this way. Just wouldn't look right, because I've got nice branches up here that I can pull down. So these branches here will just nicely fill in all these gaps that I need it to. So there's no need to have for this branch. So I'm going to gin it. I will see how big the gin is I want to keep. I don't think I want to have a big one, really long one. Now I just want to show you the difference. Look at that, much nicer little tree now. You can see I'm thinking a little bit of a tilt back, but that's about it. But at the moment, one branch hiding the trunk. Now it doesn't, it totally changes the tree. So I'll go away and clean that up, and we'll come back and have a look at the final product. So here we go, pretty much done. I fully wired the tree, so it's all done and dusted. Not too bad of a restyle. I like it much more defined, much more, there's direction in the tree. This lovely lower branch, semi-cascade, looks really nice. Pot's probably a little too heavy now with all this, with that branch gone, but look at the lovely tree it's become. A little bit more work, you know, normal pine work, getting the buds smaller, cleaner, getting, needle pluck in the right time, bud selecting, candle cutting, all that stuff still to do. But, now it's back to really good structure. Everything's pretty much in the right position. There's no real bar branches. There's no 3 in one spot. It's all back to 2s. So looking nice and pretty cool. I like it. The angle's a bit wrong if I spin it around, but let's have a look around. Back to around there. So not too bad at all. I'll move on to another little one and finish off this video. So I'll do 2 trees in this video. Here is another little Japanese black pine. It might be little, but it's actually pretty complex. I had a quick look at this tree, and it's very hard to pick where I'm going to start at the front. I mean, there's something interesting here, but it's got a very close look. You got some really heavy trunks all the way through. There's probably 4 heavy branches, 5 heavy branches that are kind of trying to compete for this tree. I think that might have been where the owner had the original front. I'm going to have a closer look at this tree and trying to find the best front. I see something more in here. I'm going to have to try and show you guys something a bit more in here where we can wire things down and create a bit more of an interesting tree, maybe a small, slightly slanting one that way. Could change the angle in the tree, but I need to really study this tree a bit. I came in a bit blind, not looking at this tree before I did this video, but I wanted to show you the process. It is a process, keep spinning the tree around, tilting the tree different ways, so on and so forth. And I think this is a lovely little Japanese pot too, as well. So really cute tree. Don't know if this is going to end up being this same angle. I'm thinking you might have to do some sort of tilting, some sort of bending back side to side, something like that. But I have to really study, make sure I find the best tree, and then start working on it. So I'll come back with what I'm thinking. Alright, so after a bit of looking around and spinning around, etc., I've settled on this as probably the new front and new design of the tree. Now the reason I chose this is if I tried to go the other side, which I was thinking about, I'd lose one of the trunks in the design, so I didn't want to really. I hate taking branches off. I think you know that about me now. So if I change this angle, I can actually incorporate this large branch in here into more of a side branch. Because I'm gonna lower all these branches. This is going to be wired down. This is going to be wired down. This is more importantly the wired down. They're all going to be wired down, and the apex is going to come down. So we're going to have a smaller, more angular tree. I think it'll look okay. I got the image in my head, so purely going away to wire up this tree now. But yeah, have a look around, spin your tree around. I was spinning this tree quite a bit. I did have a look at the other side. However, I would have to almost I lose a lot of the good branching, which is now at the back of the tree, if I chose this, and didn't have the best front. So I did think about it, but I think ultimately come back to this, but change the angle. I think the original owner, you would have seen, if you had a flat, you'd see all the trunks. It doesn't look right. Looks like there's a bit of multiple trunks in one spot. But I think by changing this angle, it will change all those perspectives up. Bringing this branch a little bit forward, bringing that branch a little bit forward and down, and then this would be the main apex. This branch will be like a side branch. So I hope you guys can see that image. But once I wire it up, you'll be able to see much better and hopefully enjoy the result. Alright everyone, so I've done quite a bit of wiring on this tree. I have managed to wire pretty much everything below all this section around here. I haven't done this bit. If I pick that as the front, You can see that this branch is kind of the lowest now. Then this branch is a little bit higher than it, and you work your way around. Well, there's some little things that I had to do to disguise some faults or some bits that are going to be an issue. There was a branch towards the back here that I had to move around and put it into this spot here. Now the reason I had to do that is this tree doesn't have too many good branches that I'm going to bring down into this spot to create a full canopy. So little things like that I had to try and maneuver. Now I'm going to be doing this area here, this bit here. So I'll be just wiring. I only wired a couple of the main branches because I had to anchor them onto other things. But I thought I might do a time lapse because you haven't really seen me do any work on this tree really. But it's coming along quite nice, guys. Nice little compact tree it will eventually be. This will reduce quite a bit. So I thought I'd do a little time lapse for you just to see the work. Alright everyone, so here is the final product for this little tree. Come up pretty good, pretty happy with it. Lots of wire of course, thinning out quite a bit to pretty much wide every branch, every sub branch, etc. The only issue I really have is this branch in here. I'm not entirely happy with it, it's a bit too big. I was thinking about cutting this middle one out and thinning it out, but I'm going to leave it for now. Because ultimately what I'd like is maybe these branches here to grow, and I'll remove this entirely. So just needs a bit of time to really develop some of these branches in here, get them a bit longer, and I think we can remove this guy eventually. It's just a little heavy as well, that branch, but it looks okay. I managed to hide the fact that it's a really big trunk in a way, but into a sub branch, so it should be okay. Other than that, lovely little mini now, much more interesting tree. Give it a nice little spin. Still needs a little tweaking, obviously all the little branches and needles are going everywhere, but looks alright. Come along well, give it a bit of time to go through the black pine regime of thinning out, trimming, etc. Bud selecting, candle pruning, etc. all that stuff. December. But other than that, pretty cool. Two nice little black pines completed. This one's had a big change of angle in terms of the pot. In terms of the tree. I think I like the angle change much more interesting, much more dynamic. So a lot more to talk about with this tree now that it's changed the angle. Alright guys, that's it for now. I've got a few more black pines to do for the customer, and I'll video them for you so you can see how they're going. Okay, bye.